I literally just filmed a video and like had a new intro and I forgot what I said. So hi. Today I wanted to quickly go through my 2021 TBR. There's a lot of this going on because one, I'm never quick. Two, is this really my 2021 TBR? Like, no, it's the books that I went on my bookshelf and went, I want to read that soon. And I'm competitive, so I'm guessing that if I make this video knowing that at the end of the year I can look back on it and be like, did I read that? No, that maybe I will read it. Really it's just to give me some sort of content. I don't know. I'm just, listen, my setup was set up, so I was using it, okay? So as I said, I just want to quickly highlight about 10 or so books that are kind of the top of my radar to read in 2021. Probably not gonna happen. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's books that I had, I'm like, oh, I want to read this in 2015, and like haven't read it. So I mean, I only started making content in 2015, so like definitely didn't do that. But anyway, let's just get on with it. There's really no rhyme or reason to these. There's no order. It's just kind of books that I feel like I should have gotten to by now, or ones that I am actually very keen for. So starting up, we have A Winter's Promise by Christelle Debeau. This is one of JD Reread's new favourite books and new series. I've had this on my radar for so long. I've only owned it for like a month, but it's been on my radar forever because it's a French translation. It's stunning. It just looks amazing. So I want to read it. It's on my Polarthon TBR, which is in February, but I have a few chunky books on my Polarthon TBR. I say chunky, more than 300 pages. But yeah, like this is one that I definitely want to get to. It was also gifted to me. I have the receipt, but not my actual gift note. I want to say it was Lisa. It might not have been. Someone gifted me this, and I want to make an effort to read gifted books more like quickly. Like, obviously I know people don't gift you a book so you read it immediately. Like, they're not authors sending you a book for review, but like it just feels nice. It's like, you've sent me something, I should actually put the effort into reading it. So this is gonna happen. Next is The Dinner by Herman Koch. This is sort of adult literary. I don't really know. I know there's like a couple that go to dinner. I think there's two couples and like their kids are like connected through like a crime. I don't even know. I'm probably making all that up. But it's been on my radar for a while. I want to branch out into more adult. Like I read a lot of YA and a lot of middle grade. Not enough adult. Adult fiction scares me. I don't have the cognitive power to slog through a lot of adult fiction just the way it's written, but I want to try. I was gonna say I read The Travelling Cat Chronicles. That's categorized both as adult and YA. I would put it more as adult, so just to make myself feel better. But this just sounds really intriguing and I want to read it. It's also translated. Like, we want to read more translated books, and the first two books on the list are translated without even thinking about it. Pretty sure they're the only two translated books, so let's not get too excited. Next is Obsidio by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I want to finish a series for once in my life. We all know that this is written in like an interesting way. It also only cost me £1 because the back cover is essentially destroyed. Because I know someone will bring it up even in subtweets. Yes, I have an author caution list. Yes, Jay Kristoff is on it. I want to take a moment here to acknowledge that you can read problematic authors without like it. This book was already in my collection. My caution list is purely to be aware that authors have done shit. Or like, and it's also a personal thing, so you could look at my list. I'll have it linked below if anyone's interested. You can look at my list and you could look at somebody that I've got down on the X list being like, I don't think I'm ever going to read them, and be like, oh, I don't think that's a problem. It's subjective. I am not like the controller of what you read. It's my personal opinion. Like, I don't want to read authors who shit on negative reviews because I'm autistic. Therefore, I can be quite blunt. People perceive that as rude. If authors already have beef with anything less than a 5-star review, if I then review their book with a 3-star and it comes across rude, I don't need that energy, so therefore I avoid them. So yeah, I'm gonna read a book that's on my problematic list because I'm not actually giving him any money at this point. Anyway, next is Rumblestar by Abby Elphinston. I fucking loved, I know it's weird that I'm choosing to swear at a middle grade book, but I really loved the Dream Snatcher trilogy by Abby Elphinston. Like, to the point that when the second book came out, Abby had like hoodies made and I was like, I want one. And she was like, if you PayPal me 20 quid, like, I'll send you one. So like, I have a hoodie that like no one else really has, just because I love the series so much. Do I know what this is about? No. Do I care? No. I just want to read more Abby Elphinston. Like, I feel like when I finished the Dream Snatcher trilogy, I just couldn't function at the thought of her writing anything else, because I just love Moll and Griff so much. And I have read Sky Song, but like nothing is going to be the same as the Dream Snatcher, and I think that put me off reading other stuff. But like, I love Abby's books, and I feel like I'm not hyping them up enough, and I'm not reading what she has already out, so we're gonna change that. Like, this is the year that I hype middle grade, but in the least middle grade friendly way possible, because like, kids, if you're watching, like, I swear too much. Parents, I'm sorry. Maybe if I do like middle grade only videos, I will try and make it like kid friendly, but like, I am not kid friendly. Like, love kids, but I am that crazy auntie that gets in trouble because she teaches the kids how to swear by accident. So next on my list is Spellslinger by Sebastian de Castell. This has been on my radar for so long. We know I love magic and I love circuses and stuff. This isn't necessarily like circusy carnival, but there is like a magic jewel and stuff. Like, I don't even know. But I was gifted, I don't know if it was this copy I was gifted. I have an ARC, but I was definitely gifted a copy. It must have been this one. At some point I was gifted an edition of this book by Zoe from Reader B, and I still haven't read it, and that is a problem. So it's happening. It's gonna happen this year. I hate to admit it, but I'm kind of getting into series. Like, I'm kind of liking the idea of like getting into a world. Like, my usual gripe with series, and I say this all the time, is that you go into a book for the plot, and then that happens, and then something happens at the end, and then you're not meant to be involved with the characters, so you want to go off and read it, which isn't me. I'm not very character driven, but when it's a cool world, I like being lost in it. So I don't know. It's gonna happen. There seems to be a theme of me just convincing myself it's going to happen, because I pick up the book and I'm like, now I'm talking about it, I'm not as excited. Which always happens. It's like, I have a January TBR of the books I was like most keen for, and I look at them now and I'm like, but, and it's like, no, Emma, the shiny new books can wait. I have Salt of the Sea by Ruta Sepetys, what the fuck, Emma? This was a book that I think around 2015, whenever it came out, let me find out. 2016, like close, well yeah, 2015 was when the ARCs were going out. Everyone on BookTube was reading this and raving about it. There seemed to be a bit of a historical fiction like moment when this book came out, and I like historical fiction. I say this all the time. November to February is usually when I read it, but I'm trying to like get out that mindset and just read it all the time. So like, I don't know why I haven't picked it up yet. I guess I just keep waiting for the right time, and then it's never the right time. So I refuse. I feel like I'm moving away from being a mood reader, because something I'm realizing is I will look at a pile of books and I'll be like, oh, I want to read this. Even with a small TBR, I'll be like, I want to read this, and I want to read this, and I want to read this. And I'll sit for ages going, but which one do I read first? And it's like, if you just picked one, then read it, you could then read the other one. And so I'm slowly kind of becoming, I am still a mood reader. Like, I will still be like, oh, I'm in the mood for this. But a lot of the time I'm just like, oh, I want to read everything. So that's why, like, I know I could put this on my February TBR, but I'm like, no more November to February for historical fiction. We're gonna read historical fiction in the height of summer, because the past was not all dull and grey and cold. Like, they didn't live in perpetual winter. Like, just because times were shitty, like 2020 had some gloriously hot summer days. What even am I trying to do? I don't even know what this analogy is trying to be. I'm just gonna shut up. Next is The Spellbook of the Lost and Found by Moira Fowley Doyle. I really liked Moira's book. I wanted to say All the Bad Apples, but that's the other book. Where is it? Where? Oh my god, she's half French. Oh, love her even more now. The Accident Season. I absolutely loved The Accident Season. I loved that sort of like fabulism, speculative vibe. I'm really liking that sort of speculative fiction. I think that's the new term for magical realism. Like, I know there's been that whole conversation about magical realism being something that people say it's not. Apparently this is a video where I just try and process things and it doesn't work. Basically, I just want to read more from this author because I think she could be a new favourite author, but I've only read one of her books, and I own currently 3, well, 1 I've read and 2 that I haven't, so pick the oldest one. Salt of the Sea is not the oldest book on this list. Made You Up by Francesca Zappia is, I got this when it came out. Obviously I have the hardback. It's a basic bitch hardback. I've had this on my TBR for like 6 years now. I love the cover. I think it's like OCD rep, but if I recall, I want to say there's conversation that Francesca Zappia might be undiagnosed autistic, or maybe she is autistic, and I know a lot of people have said they kind of see that in the characters in her books, like in Eliza and Her Monsters, and then this one. So I want to read it already, like, get to it, Emma. Next, I have a reread, which is Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I read this back when it came out. I really liked it, but I was also very much new to reading and didn't really know what I liked, and like I was still kind of, I want to say like learning how to read, if that makes sense. Like I didn't necessarily engage or enjoy reading as much as I do now. Like I still liked it, but like not the way I do now. So I would just like to reread this, especially now that I know how much I love circuses and speculative kind of fiction, and I want to continue on and read the series. So, you know, I want to get to both Caraval and Legendary this year. I don't own Finale yet, hence why that is not also on this list. And I also have The Invisible Life of Ade LaRue on my list. This is on my January TBR. I'm probably going to get to this very, very soon. The type of vibes I get from this are sort of the Starless Sea type thing, where I just think it's going to be that kind of weird, doesn't make sense, a lot of people don't really like it. I know a lot of people do love it, but I don't know, it just gives me vibes that it's going to be one of those books. It's like just confusing but still really good. So I'm just very excited about it. So that is the plan. I'm gonna I keep forgetting it's so pretty underneath. So yeah, that is the plan, to read this in January, but I was putting on this list because then at least I know I can tick one off. And my final sort of, it's not really a book, it's more of an author. I wish you caught that on camera, that was impressive. My book just levitated. So the final 2021 TBR is just to read something by Gregory Maguire. I do want to reread Wicked, but I also would like to get through his backlist because I want to know if I actually love him as an author overall or just Wicked. So I have Egg and Spoon, but that's one of the newer books. I think I want to read the older stuff because I think I'll like that least. So yeah, I have Confessions of an Ugly Stepsister, Lost, Mirror Mirror, Egg and Spoon. After Alice, I was like, where's my copy of After Alice? It's staring me in the face. And I also need to get Hidden Sea and Wild Winter Song. I can't even remember what it's called. Well done, Emma. But yeah, I first read Wicked in 2014? No, 2015. Son of a Witch in 16. A Lion Among Men 2018, and then the last one out of Oz in 2019, and then 2020 I didn't read any no, it was 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, and then 2019 I listened to an audiobook of like one of Gregory Maguire's like kids sort of fairy tale things, and I didn't listen to or read any Gregory Maguire in 2020, which broke the tradition, but I felt better about doing it because I was just gonna get stuck in a rut of like, I need to read it. So yeah, I want to read some sort of Gregory Maguire. So there we have it. That is my sort of main goals of books to read in 2021. I say main goals, like my main goals are 150 books, NetGalley ratio at 50%, read more sci-fi. There's literally no sci-fi on that list apart from Obsidio. Yeah, I don't even know. We're just making content and given me something to force me to read. I don't know. Like we're just here. We're just going with it. And now I'm gonna go to bed and have a nap because I'm really tired. So yeah, let me know if you've read any of these, which ones are your favorites. Let me know if there's books that maybe you know I haven't read, maybe you can see on my shelf and you're like, Emma, you need to read that this year. I mean, one of the ones I honorable mention, The Sacrosanct Chronicles by Emma and Jolie. I have the first like 4 books and novella bind up, and like that, okay, I was gonna say that counts as sci-fi. It's not really, it's like paranormal-esque. Anyway, I'm just procrastinating now, so we're gonna go. So thank you guys for watching. Like the video if you liked it, dislike if you didn't, leave a comment down below, just have a chat, like I don't even know, and I'll see you whenever I see you.